Hello. Hello, everyone. It's Small Business Sundays. Hello, hello. We are live. We are live. Okay, so let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Genevieve from GM HR Solutions, and the host of Sister to Sisters, and also the part owner of F&M Drip. So now I mentioned F&M Drip today because it's Small Business Sundays. And I wanted to feature that business as well. But before I do that, I also wanted to share some information with everyone on different things that are, or different jobs that are available within the federal government. So, again, my name is Genevieve from GM HR Solutions. Unfortunately, Saret will not be in visually with us, but she'll be in the background. Kind of participating, asking questions, and also reading out some of the questions for us that you guys have, because sometimes I tend to just, be focused on what I'm doing. So hopefully, I can kind of glance at the comment section to see you guys' questions. And also, I have my oldest son. He is also in the background. I think he's secretly my agent or my lawyer, or I don't know, because he doesn't mind helping his mama out, because y'all, when we get older, shoot. And with this technology thing, oh my goodness, technology is, something that takes some getting used to, but I think I've been doing, an okay job at it. Hello, Saret. I see you in the audience. I see Shayna Lyles. Oh, most of the Lyles sisters are here. Hello, ladies. Thank you for stopping by. Kai Kai. Kai Kai says secretly. That's my son. That's my lawyer, slash agent, slash, partner. Um, Tell us more. Tell you what more about what, Saret? You in the background. So don't you come talking about tell you more of anything, okay? So, yes, guys. So, let's get started. So, I wanted, because I have this client that I'm working with, and she works out of John J. No, John Hopkins, because it's a John Hopkins college. And so she has a lot of social media background. And so she wanted to try to yes, wow. She wanted to try to get her resume revamped for a federal job. And so she reached out to me, and so I'm supposed to be assisting her. But right now she's the marketing director at the college, but she's really interested in getting a job in social media within the federal government. Now, guys, you know me, I don't lie or try not to lie about anything. I didn't know they had jobs for social media management. And so, I went in because I'm, always open to learning and accepting and, trying to understand things, especially with the way technology has changed. There's a lot of things that we have to stay abreast on. So, me with a background of HR, most of the jobs that I've advertised in the past for the federal government hasn't been to exactly, Saret, hasn't been for social media management, because I mean I don't know why, but that the managers weren't looking for that. But I guess because they have HR doing the legwork for them. So with the job that she was looking for, and lo and behold, when I looked, I saw that they had a lot of social media management positions. And yo, this one position, you know what? Let's see if I can find it. This job was going to pay her. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit off script right here. Because Joe, this thing caught me off guard. Okay, let me try to stay professional. I'm using a lot of slang. But yes, this job caught me off guard because they were going to pay her. Let me see if I can find her email. They were going to pay her 140K starting salary, 140K, and she had to do nothing. But the only thing about this job, that it was a term position, which means it was going to be only for a few years. So after they run out of money, pretty much, or and they can recruit you, or you can stay on. After the 2 years, they can extend you for another 2 years, but then after that, it's a maximum of 4 years. So now with this position that she wanted to apply to, she would have to compete again, which means she would have to find another job and apply to another job. And then for me, when I speak to my clients, I try to not, I try to steer them to getting into a job that has longevity in the federal government, because, applying for a job, I don't know about y'all and stuff, but that stuff is work. It's a lot of work. Ain't nobody got time to be applying to jobs and then going on interviews and people judging you during the interview. Y'all know the whole deal about jobs. So now I always try to get people to get into jobs that only have longevity. Hold on, guys. I can't find this thing because y'all got to see this. This is very important. Very, very important. So I'm looking at this job again, 2 years. So she would have to extend. Let's see. I hope this screen is not being shown because I don't want to share her information. No, okay, that's not showing her. Okay. So yeah, so I'm like, dude. So that's about a GS-15. A GS-15 is the highest scale on the federal pay scale. And so I'm like, dude, for 140 starting salary, 140K, you're just going to be doing that, talking on social media? Like, dude, I need to stop doing what I'm doing and maybe do this for about 2 years, or do it on the side and stuff and make this quick money. Y'all, I can't find this position. I'm going to find it. I'm determined. When did I last speak to her? Was it Thursday? No. Friday I spoke to her. But this lady would have been making so much money. But, I guess she wanted to make sure, because a lot of the jobs in the federal government are not guaranteed. And so a lot of them are public announcements, which I'll be touching up on in a few minutes, why people are having a difficult time getting into federal jobs. And so I told her, if she's going to pay me the money, at least let's work together, a few times. One time, if she can get it, grasp it and stuff, fine. But a few times, because she wanted 2 resumes written out for her. And so I told her, okay, so let's work on one. And then once you kind of, get the gist of what I'm doing, of how I do things, then you can possibly do it yourself and you don't have to pay me, and you can apply. And then, just in case you don't get it. Okay. Public affairs specialist, social media. Okay. I found it. Hold on. We're going to have to go to a different screen. Let's go to a different screen. Guys, don't be mad, because trust and believe, y'all gonna be looking at this like, what? She ain't lying. Nope. I don't lie. Oh, I try not to lie, that is. Is it this one? Okay. So wait, no. I don't want to open her email. I don't want to open the email, but let's open. Okay, this one. Let's share this one. Okay, look at this. This is what I'm looking at. Look, public affairs specialist, social media strategist, same thing. Sometimes we like to use big words and stuff to trick people to, make you guys think that you guys are not qualified, but it means the same thing. So this vacancy, it opened on the 7th and it closes on the 21st. So when I work with people, I usually ask them to give me a few days so I can work on their thing. Look at this, $140,566,000, and the range, that's the range, and then up to $238,000. Come, let's look. Let's go down. This job is open to the public, so anyone who doesn't have any federal background, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can apply to this job. So look, this is the duties. Collaborate regularly with agency leaders and staff members in relevant bureau program offices to identify program needs and opportunities for social media engagement. Pretty much we're saying get with, leadership, talk to them in meetings, and then find out, create different programs and stuff to identify programs for social media and get, dude, like this is so, I'm hype. I'm sorry. This is, I'm usually not this hype. Develop social media content in consultation with subject matter experts. So now these people, more than likely, a lot of them don't know what they're doing. So you'll probably be the expert and stuff. So they'll tell you what they're trying to do. And then all you would have to do is create content. Who can I do that? I can do that with my eyes closed. Y'all, all this time I've been trying to, get on this social media thing and creating content. I think I'm an expert at this. Develop metrics and other measures to assess effectiveness of social media engagements. We're using big words right here, but all you got to do is create something for you to see, what's working, what's not working. And then once you find what's working, then you continue doing it. And then you tell these people what it is that's working so you can help them develop these programs. Like, are you serious? So now these are the key requirements. You have to be a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national, and you'll have 1 year probationary period. And then for you to qualify, this is what you got to do. You got to develop and manage social media campaigns for an agency or an organization, including responding to comments and questions. Correct. You doing that right now, especially since you don't like to get on camera. Providing strategic advice. What strategic advice? Guys, y'all just, providing advice, that's strategic advice. I told y'all, we use big words just to use big words to fool you guys so you guys can stay away from applying to these vacancies. Social media best practices and advising managers on how to best leverage social media to pursue organization goals. Now, if I'm looking for a social media manager, I'm going to ask them, okay, since you've been at this social media game and stuff, tell me what I need to do for me to be able to, leverage. So for me to increase my social media presence. Assessing effectiveness of social media campaigns and efforts and recommending and implementing improvements to such campaigns. So you create an ad or you create some type of content and then you change it up a little bit. You give them some advice towards it and stuff, and you pretty much taking care of it. Like, yo. Okay. So these are the types of jobs that they have in the federal government, and it is too easy, and anyone, like I said, anyone can do it with their eyes closed. Now, this is what they're going to assess you on: your knowledge, your skills, and your ability to write and also to think. Now, if they're telling you what you need to do, anybody, that's way too easy. But the only thing with this one, veterans preference applied. So because I served in the military, I am always going to be, happy that veterans preference applies because, we did some real stuff in the military. So that would be the only thing, that would be you guys' competition. Because, or, and what about a lot of us who have been, or have served in the military? If we don't know how to manage the social media thing and stuff as well as you guys do, guess who's going to get this job? Not me, being a veteran, because I wouldn't have the skill. Or if, you didn't meet me, or, haven't had the ability to work with me, you wouldn't really know how to put those words or to tailor your resume to what they're looking for. But to me, this is like, too easy. For 2 years. Okay, so let's see the 2 years that I was talking about. Term, 2-year appointment, and maybe extended to a maximum of 4 years total. So now, sometimes even after the 4 years total, you can take a break, and now this break can be about 30 to 60 days. And then, and the thing about the federal government, if you're working with a hiring manager and they like you and you're good at what you're doing, because they had this position, and then now they're working on getting funding, and by the time they get the funding, they know you were the one who pretty much took control of that program. The next time they have it, they can pretty much reach out to you and say, hey, I got this position opening up again and stuff. Are you down? Are you interested? Now, because you've done it, and and whatever new requirements that they would be putting, you would have to pay attention to that on a vacancy announcement. You would apply, and it would be your job again for next 4 years, for another 4 years. So this is why I get excited when I talk about jobs in the federal government, because some of these jobs are like, you can do this in your sleep, but because of the language that we use, a lot of people get intimidated by it, and so they stay away from it. But this is like hotcakes. How much I can buy so much. I don't even eat hotcakes, but I can buy so much from this thing. In fact, Saret, I think I can buy, how much were y'all sneakers again, guys, for school? About $3.50 a pop. Y'all be, that's all y'all be wearing. If I was to ever, apply to this job and stuff, and it's only one of them, one vacancy. So now I mentioned, I'm going to go to our presentation. So I mentioned, if after you've performed that job, and then, they gotten the budget back up, and then they need someone to fill that job, all they can do now, because they're interested in you, is to do a name request. So now let's jump to our presentation. Okay, I'm going to take a break while I'm transferring into it. I'm going to read some questions. Let me see. Yes, sir. A whole bunch of sneakers. Hold on. Let me stop screen. Let's go back to, today was pretty fast. I think I threw out a lot of information at one time. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me find this thing. Back to school. Okay. So now let's read some questions before I move on. I feel like I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. Okay, a whole bunch of sneakers. Yes, Saret. Oh my goodness. Buku. Shoot. I'm not really into Jordans like that, but I'll be wearing them just because. Yes, Saret, you need to stop playing and get with federal job. Yo, I don't know what's up with you. I don't know what's up with you. Okay, Saret said, what's the requirements? Requirements, I don't know. I think I showed it to you, but if I didn't, then please elaborate on what you mean by what's the requirements. Put this phone on the charger for me, please. Hi, Kim. Okay, said hello to the Lyle sisters. Hi, Shadell Allen. Okay, that's it. I think I didn't miss anyone's questions. Okay, so I said I did. Okay. Hi, Sharita. Okay, guys, let's get back to our originally scheduled program. So now, what are you good at? Now, I mentioned to you that this girl that reached out to me, my client, reached out to me, she likes to, work in social media. But what her job is and stuff is, a strategist, something, a AO she's doing, administrative officer or administrative assistant. at John Hopkins. But she's not really interested in doing that because, of her social media background. So she wanted to get a job into that, and she reached out to me and stuff. And so now, since we mentioned, that's what she's good at. So what are you good at? So next slide. Let me try to stay on my slides so I don't want to jump all over the place. Okay. What are you good at? And now, once you find out what you're good at, now you need to know what's the best way to get a federal job or get a job in the federal government. And in saying what's the best way, I like to break that down a little bit. What's the fastest way and the easiest way? Nobody got time to be playing games because, in the federal government, we like to play games. We like to announce these vacancies, do these public announcements when in fact, we're really not looking for anyone. But we have to submit these public announcements because it's by law, we have to do it. And so if anyone is already an employee within the organization, we would give them an opportunity for them to apply. And if they don't apply, then that's when we'll be going outside to fill the vacancy. And so sometimes when we're trying to do that, because a lot of the times I have found that people have difficulty getting their applications to the hiring manager or through HR is because they don't know what they're doing, which is why when I stopped working for the federal government, because I used to feel so sorry for these people. I always want to help people. And so I always used to feel sorry for them because each time they would apply and then they would send me these resumes and stuff. Guys, let's be real. Some of these resumes, it's like, I don't know. It's either they're too humble, they're too modest, and also they are, they're not sure what they need to do, or they think because they say that they are a nurse, if the position is a nurse that they're applying to, if the position is a nurse, that automatically, people know, or people are going to be able to assume what they're doing as a nurse. Now, if you think about it, some nurses, all they may do is probably, do injections or take blood, also phlebotomists do that too. But there are some nurses that do other things. So now if you're applying for a job that's asking you to do other things, and all you've been doing, as a nurse, or all you're putting on your resume is that you've just been drawing blood, what job are you going to get? Because, you need to tell them exactly what they're looking for and stuff. So that means you have to tailor your resume and stuff to the job that they're looking for, that they're trying to, that you're applying to. So if you're applying to a job that says, as a nurse, they want you to administer medication or to write scripts or to, do screening of the patients and so forth, and you only put on there that all you've been doing is drawing blood, then it's like, are you really trying to get this job, or are you just, trying to waste your time applying for federal, vacancies or applying to jobs? So now let's move on. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, you definitely have to make it make sense, because, a lot of people just be throwing their resumes and stuff. And each job that you apply to, it has to be a different resume. Now, not different as in you have to completely change everything on there, but whatever the job is, you have to add that information into your resume to marry into what it is that you're looking for, or what the job is looking for. Because if you're not doing that, then, the last job that you applied to as a cook, and now you're applying to a HR position, like, what about a cook will qualify you to do, to perform the duties of a HR specialist? You would have to say how, if you were a cook, you were able to bring on other cooks or bring on sous chefs. And then what did you do in the process of you bringing on a sous chef? Did you, interview a sous chef? Did you train a sous chef? Did you advertise a position? And when you did, do you know what the job description or the full duties of that position is before, you applied, before you brought on that sous chef. So even if you were a cook and you're trying to apply to an HR job, you have to make it, like, Sherry said, you have to make it make sense. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so now, because a lot of people have difficulty getting, to HR, getting their resumes reviewed by the hiring manager, OPM has created a special authority for hiring managers and agencies to use for them to be able to get the people that they want or the people that they need. And so, just think about it. When I was working for the federal government, every single, like, I would have maybe 3 or 4 hiring managers that's looking for people to work. And so now I would announce their jobs several times. And then these hiring managers, they have specific things that they're looking for. Even though the job description, HR, before we announce anything, we get with them for them to let us know what they're looking for. What are some things that are most important to them? What are the major duties of that position? And so now a lot of them, because they're busy or because they don't know what they're doing, or they just, want to just push the job back to HR. So they'll eventually agree with HR, that what they're looking for. So now what they're looking for is what HR goes out and then we announce. So in our announcements that we would, announce, applicants would apply. So now we would have applicants applying. So now we would review their resume against the vacancy announcement and against the job. And so now we would find a lot of people who are qualified for the job. So now we would look at specific things, which is why, if you are not familiar with what HR is looking for, you would miss them. So, which is good. I always tell people that it's a good thing that they reach out to me, because I know what they're looking for. And I know the games that the hiring managers play also. So now, once I find that they're qualified, then I would send the applicants to the hiring manager. So now these hiring managers, because again, they don't know what they're doing, or, God knows what, be going on in their minds, they would come back and tell HR, no, I don't know why you send me these people. These people don't have these qualifications. These people don't know what they're doing. These people are not it. I need you to send me, people that are qualified. Then we would speak to the hiring managers and say, hey, this is what we agreed on. So, okay. And then they would say, well, I want you to go back and announce it again. Okay. So before we announce it, you would have to tell HR, what I tell the hiring managers, you would have to tell HR what it is that you want them to change. Because if we're just changing it, or if we're just re-announcing it because your person didn't reach out to me, your person doesn't know what they're doing, your person who was a cook, is applying to this position and doesn't know exactly what they're doing, and the information that they're providing HR doesn't make sense, we will never see that person. We will never be able to review their resumes. So now hiring managers will push us back out for us to re-announce a vacancy. So we would re-announce a vacancy several times, and they still would not find the person that they're looking for. So now that sometimes creates a problem for the federal agency, for that agency. And so now the hiring managers would then reach out to OPM and stuff. And of course, with HR, we would have to give them, the backing, because we would say, okay, this is what we tried. We tried this, we tried that, we tried this, and nothing has worked, because it doesn't seem like we're not finding the applicants that he or she is looking for. And so this is when OPM will come back, and OPM will say, okay, you know what? This job seems to be a very difficult job for you guys to fill. So now we're going to give you this special authority. Now, within this special authority, you can now pick anyone you want. So now this person, doesn't have to go through the whole process of, knowing exactly what they need to do, or knowing what games they need to play with HR, or they don't have to compete with veterans and stuff. Because again, with federal positions, most federal positions, the ones that are open to the public, veterans have the first preference. We have the first dib into the pile, and then everyone else. So now sometimes, federal employees can also apply to that same position. But if you're a veteran, you're already blocking the cert. So nobody else can go past, no one can pass go, whatever the case may be, until a veteran, is not qualified, or the veteran say that they're not interested in the position. So OPM sends them this special authority and tells them, okay, you know what? Yes, it's very difficult. HR has, told us everything, what type of marketing that they're doing to fill this vacancy. So unfortunately, you cannot find someone. So now, because this job is crucial to you being able to perform your position, your duties, whatever you need to do for that agency, now we're going to give you that authority. So now you go find someone. So now these hiring managers, they usually have people that they know, or, people that weren't able to meet the threshold that HR was looking for. Now these people have a better opportunity because they're not being blocked by veterans. So now these people can apply. So with this authority, the hiring manager can say, hey, HR, I have, Surette. Surette can do this job. So I need you to reach out to Surette, and then, to get her resume, to review her resume, because they still have to review the resumes and stuff. And then Surette now would, the hiring manager would also be communicating with Surette. Now Surette would reach out to HR, submit her resume, because there's already been a public announcement, because HR has already put it out there that we are looking for someone. So now Surette can go, because she has, communication with the hiring manager. Surette can go now to apply to this job. And once Surette applies to this job, she will send her resume to HR. Sometimes you even have to go and apply to the job, because most times the jobs have already closed, but we still have the need, but it's just the announcement closed, but the job didn't close because we didn't fill it yet. So now Surette will send her resume to the to HR, and now HR will review her resume. Now at this time, it's supposed to be that Surette is supposed to be completely qualified. Surette needs to meet whatever requirements that we are looking for that position. But because of that special authority, there's a lot of loopholes that Surette won't have to go through. So now once HR reviews it, now HR can then look at her resume, because we have to take that piece of information to show that she has an interest in the position. And then once we find out that Surette qualifies, minimally qualifies for this position, that means Surette doesn't have to be the top notch, but the hiring manager thinks she's a top notch and stuff. So Surette doesn't have to be, all the way qualified at the 100%. So once once we determine that Surette minimally qualifies, then we can reach out to the hiring manager and say, okay, yeah, Surette reached out to me. She has an interest in the position. She provided us her resume. Do you want to move forward with her? And then that's when, HR will reach out, and then, sometimes the hiring manager don't even, yes, Surette, you're really top notch. Hi, Shauna. I didn't say hi to you. So yes. So at that time, HR would reach out to Surette and then would say, okay, so the hiring manager already knows you're it. So they don't even want to interview you. They don't need to interview you, because they already know you're their girl. So HR would then reach out and stuff and do the background check, because, we can't just bring anybody, because Surette got some history on her. So we need to make sure the history that Surette has on her is not going to it's not going to be a hindrance to the agency, because what we care about is the agency, not what the hiring manager says. We give them some leeway, but as far as security, Surette has to meet the security protocols. So now once we figure out, okay, Surette's security protocols, was it that and whatever she did and stuff, she gave us justification, and the hiring manager really likes her, because the hiring manager doesn't think that Surette smacking somebody just because of they looked at her crazy and stuff doesn't justify her not getting the job. So now the hiring manager will say, well, it is what it is and stuff. We need somebody that tough in the job. So yes, bring her on. So because Saret meets, all the security protocols and that, in HR, if that was me, I would probably be like, yo, Saret, I understand you got this history and stuff. Please make sure that you control yourself, because if it comes that, you're being a problem to other managers, your manager cannot cover you like that, because, if you're violating any type of merit system principles, if any type of issues, you're fighting, you're drinking on the job, we would still, have to advise the hiring manager to let you go. So, Saret agrees, Saret gets in. So this authority, this, special authority, this is the best authority that anyone can use. As a matter of fact, if I can think back when I started in HR, as an HR assistant, when I went to the my story is long, but when I went to the VA, because I started working for the VA, when I went into the HR office, because I had applied several times and I wasn't getting it. I couldn't understand why. One, yes, my resume wasn't so great, which means, I reached out to someone for help. So I understand that, when somebody doesn't know what they're doing and stuff, that there are people that can help. So please, guys, if you need any assistance, definitely reach out. So once I went into the HR office, I spoke to the specialist that was there, and then I told her, I've applied and I don't understand, because, I was in the military, I was a sergeant, I was this, I was that, I just graduated, got my bachelor's and stuff. I can do this. And so she looked at my resume. She was like, yeah, why didn't you get in? Like, I don't understand. I was like, I wanted to say something else, but I was like, yeah, I don't know. So she looked at it and she was like, yeah, you know what? Let me take your resume and stuff, and then I'll forward it to the supervisor. So she forwarded it to the supervisor. Less than, a few hours, the supervisor calls me and told me, hey, I got your resume and stuff, and they told me that, you were interested. Do you want to come in and, talk for a second? And I'm like, oh, okay, like this is moving really fast. I didn't think it was going to be that fast, because all this time I've been applying and not getting any hits, and I'm a veteran. And so once I went in and stuff and spoke to her, and then, at the time, she didn't have a position right now because they had just filled one, but they were going to have another position coming up, and they were kind of moving slow on it. So she offered me other positions and stuff. You see, it being in the room, or putting yourself out there, can open up so many opportunities for you. So, anyone who's as hesitant in doing that, please take my, experience and stuff, or, my history as evidence that you can do that and you will still be able to get ahead. So she offered me some logistic positions, which is what I also did while I was in the military. And then I told her, no, I really want to get into HR, because logistics, I was working too hard. I wanted to sit down and chill. So she told me, okay, fine. Well, you're not interested in that. Okay, so I'll let you know. You know what? We might have to move faster on this position. So let me, get with my immediate boss and stuff. And then, and then I'll reach back out to you. I didn't even get home. This lady calls me and says, hey, do you have time next week? And I was like, okay. And I think it was like maybe like Thursday or Friday. I was like, oh, sure, of course I do. Yeah. So how can I, so when would be a best time? Of course, I have to play the game and stuff. But my behind was scared as all get up, because, I was not ready. I didn't think I was prepared. So she told me, the date. So I went in, interviewed, and then, had my reference letter, my references available, because when I knew the interview was going well is when she asked me about my reference. So she asked me about my reference, gave it to her and stuff. Again, didn't even get home. And then this lady says, so we're going to have someone in HR call you and, to set your pay and so forth and so forth. And I was like, but why was it so difficult when I applied? And she said, well, because, we have special authority. Now, thinking back, I wasn't even sure which authority she was using and stuff, but that was the authority. So anyone who is looking for a federal job and don't want to play the game, look for jobs that have that DHA next to it and stuff for you to apply to, because those jobs are usually the fastest jobs for you to get into the federal government. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the, what it says, but I already gave you guys the definition of it. So this is the definition of it. I'm not going to read it. And then right here, veterans preference. Man, I moved so fast. Okay, veterans preference, again, want to reiterate, veterans preference doesn't apply once public notice is given. It's free game on who the hiring manager can bring on. And then the caveat, you have to qualify, but let's say minimally qualified. But for me, you would have to qualify because you want to make sure, that you meet every HR specialist's standards, because some people are tougher than the other. So you want to make sure that you are qualified. And then now, if there are some that, are easier, to let people slide through, then you'll be good if it's minimally qualified. So now, what makes you stand out? What are your experiences? What's your education? What's your background? What do you like to do? What are you good at doing? Whatever it is, there's a job for you in a federal government. Now, before I told you that, you guys, that story, I wasn't even sure that they had a position dealing with, federal, for social media, but there was. So now, other than, so you guys see all this, but other than, me doing HR, being in HR and stuff, I didn't even know that I like art, that I like to create imagery. I like to do things like that. So on the side, I'm kind of like a busybody. So I like to get my hands dirty. I like to stay active. I like to do a lot of different things. Now, this business, I must be honest, my kids were supposed to be doing this business. And I'm looking at him right now. Because even the name, F&M Drip, what does it mean? What does F&M Drip mean?
Fear no man.
While you dripping in fashion. He says, fear no man while you dripping in fashion. So once they said that, I was like, yo, this is mad cool. Like, because I always want my kids to be not afraid of anything. And especially man, because, we already know who's in control, who's in power, God is. So you shouldn't be afraid of no one. So now by them saying that, I was like, okay, let me try to create something to help them and stuff, to try to get their business going, to see how how creative they are or they can be. And these kids, I don't know, I guess they're still young and stuff, but now my 16-year-old, is his last year, but we already told him this year he's going to be running this business because mama's tired. Mama got her hands in everything. So, mama want to break, because I have other businesses that I'm trying to get into. The travel business with Kim, the travel business. I need to get my studies on that one. So now I also have this business, F&M Drip, and now I partner with Redbubble. So I create the designs, and then I partner with Redbubble. I put them on t-shirts and all types of materials and stuff. These are some of the pictures right here, and this is a mouse. So now, because I'm in HR, I love HR and stuff, I created something that if I was still working in HR, that's probably what I would be wearing and stuff. You guys probably can't see it too much, but if you check the website, you'll probably be able to see it a little bit more and stuff. So this is HR. So this is supposed to be me, HR, standing there. And of course, anytime somebody see HR, they always running different directions, acting like they're doing something and stuff. And this guy, man, I wish I can make it bigger. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So now this guy, it was mad funny and stuff, the way he was running and stuff, almost leaving his neck and his, head behind and stuff, because he saw HR. So, that's something that I like to do. So I created, these designs, and then I put them on t-shirts and everything else, to sell. And like I said, going to try to get my kids to go in and, start working in that business, or to manage that business a little bit more. So now one would think, okay, what does that got to do with anything? Y'all, listen up. So because I like to do designs and stuff, and I didn't even know I like to do designs. And if I get tired of HR or dealing with people, or, the business is not working and stuff, because now I know how to do designs, how to research, to find designs, to create designs, to put things on there that are meaningful. There are different jobs. Oh no, this, okay, you know what? Let's jump a little bit and then we'll go back to the DHA. So now the federal government has jobs. Why can't I get this thing? Hold on, y'all. The federal government has jobs for exhibit specialists. So now this is the vacancy link. Let's open it up and then we'll go back to DHA. Okay, so present. Let's go to USA Jobs. Let me put it up there first, and then I'll bring you guys on. Okay, for the exhibit specialist. Okay, let's go. Let's find the screen. Let's stop sharing this one. Let's present this one. Share screen. USA Jobs. Which one is this one? Exhibit specialist. Yep, this one. Okay. So y'all look at it. Look at this. Now one would think, well, this has nothing to do with designs and stuff, but let's look at it a little bit closer. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to make this thing smaller so I can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so let's go. I need to see. Okay, exhibit specialist. Now this one is not bad, it's not 140K and stuff, but because I didn't know that there was such a job. So you'll be making about 57K. I don't know who is making more than that out there, but if you guys are and stuff, does your employer I guess give you bonuses annually, and also do you get an increase annually because the pay scale, there's an increase that you get through the federal government, that every year they increase the locality. That's where we get most of our money and stuff, where the locality increases. I think this year the locality went up to, I think, about 5%. I don't want to be a liar and stuff, but I think it was in the upwards of 5% from what it was before. And I think Trump probably did it too. He probably gave us a high percentage. So now on an average, I don't know any employer who every year will give you an annual increase without you even doing anything. Now the bonus, that's different. That's based on your performance and how much money that they have, budgets and stuff that they have. But the federal government got so much money that, they're pretty much just giving it out. Okay, so this one, it closes in 2 days. So let's see. So now you can go up to a GS11. So you start off as a GS9, GS11. When I first started working for the federal government, I applied to GS6, GS7s and stuff, and even and the only one that reached out to me without me going up, to HR, where I went and did the legwork myself and stuff, was for a GS5 position. Like they were charged, the salary was about 30 something K. And then the GS6 was about 40K. Of course, I was going to take the GS6. I was not going to lose out on my, my change. So now this position right here, occasional travel. Sometimes it's just for training. Sometimes, it's just for you to look at the exhibits. And if you like art, then this is, a good position for anyone out there. So this is permanent. So remember the other one that I was talking about with the social media strategist or whatever it was a term position for 2 years. This one is permanent. So these are the best jobs, permanent positions and full-time. And it's in the competitive service. That you guys don't really need to know that until, much later. So you don't have to be a supervisor. So anyone who's a supervisor and you're barely making that much, I, beg that you reconsider, your profession. This one, you don't need a security clearance. Drug test, they don't do a drug test, but that doesn't mean that, And then this one is low risk. So now that's the announcement number right there. Okay. This is who it's open to. So now people with disabilities, individuals with disabilities, this one, if you haven't worked for the federal government, you may not be able to apply to this one unless you have a disability or you're a veteran. So now I may try to do a meeting on this one for people with disabilities, because we're walking around here with aches and pains and stuff, and so many different things that we can get our physicians to give us a note saying that we have that disability. And as long as a disability is not going to stop you from performing your job, you can use your disability to get a job in the federal government. Like, they give jobs to everybody. You just got to know what you're doing. So now one would think, okay, what kind of disability? I have my legs, I have my feet, I have this, I have, my arms and stuff. I don't have any disabilities. If you wear glasses, you have a disability. If you have diabetes, you have a disability. If you have any type of respiratory issues, you have a disability. There's a list of disabilities that are available that, once my clients reach out to me and they want to work with me, I try to find different ways to help them get in faster, as opposed to them having to compete with the vets, because that's usually harder. So these are the people that can apply for this position. Anybody can try to apply, but you won't get seen. You won't get your application reviewed if you do not fall under any of these categories. And then, with your disability, you would have to have your physician's letter. And then there's also a format that the federal government likes you to use to kind of have their jargon of what they want your physician to put on there. I have found a lot of physicians don't like to give these letters out. Like, I'd be like, why? I mean, it's not like they're going to ask. HR, we don't care, because we're not doctors. We're not, we don't care. We're not going to call your doctor and say, hey, this person says, they have a disability. Oh, guys, guess what? You know what? This one is funny. With the disability thing. Now, I was looking when I was working, I think I was working for the U.S. Attorney's Office. This girl, she applied and stuff, and she provided her disability letter. And I'm like, okay, yeah, she's a disabled vet and this and that, or she's someone with real disabilities, and, that's my people and stuff, because we're injured. We got, issues. This person, her disability was she was overweight. Now, one may think, okay, like overweight. Yeah. And I don't even know how overweight she was, but and you already know how these people do the scales with overweight. You just have an inch of fat, they call you overweight. So she was using her overweight, obese. That's what she put on there, but anybody can use that word. And so she used her obesity as a disability, and we had to consider her because that's a disability. And that's, one of the disabilities that are listed on there. So now here's the duties. Perform original research to identify digital images. I do that. And other materials to enhance exhibit development. Now, if I find something nice, something unique, I can do that and stuff to enhance the exhibit's development, including exhibit furniture. Come on. Graphic design, audio visual programming, and visual effects. Come on. AI has created so many different things for us that this job is like you can do it with your eyes closed. Develop original plans, designs, diagrams, and drawings covering a range of exhibit design matters. Sometimes all you got to do is just make a little change on something, and there's a lot of designs now. I know, if you follow any artists, let's say one for, Kanye for one and stuff, his mind is, unique. This guy, he's a genius. Okay, minus everything else, but he's a genius. He can think of crazy things, things that we would call crazy. These are the things that people are looking for. So now, if you have an idea and it's different, it's fresh, it's this, however they, these people be talking, and you can do that, anybody can do this job. Monitor the operation of condition of all exhibits. That just means make sure that these things are not broken, that they're not damaged, that they're not, there's no defects on them. Assist in the assessment of audience reaction towards exhibits, helping to determine the effectiveness. What in the world? Right. The effectiveness of exhibits in meeting museum goals and responding to visitors' needs. Come on, I know y'all can cheer anything on and stuff. So if, people in the exhibits are, modest, they don't want to think, I'm pretty sure anybody can find a way to get these people's reaction. Make recommendation for changes in permanent exhibit design to ensure artifact care and preservation. This is too easy, but it's the language. A lot of people that reach out to me, or the ones that I also help people find jobs. So I will send it to them, and then they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, yo, don't look into, the big words that we're using. Just think about, what that word means to you and put it in the simplest form, and you can do it. So now, again, most federal jobs have 1 year probation. There's some that have 2 years. So they'll do a little background check, background investigation. That's your local background check. Make sure you didn't kill anybody or, stuff like that. But different jobs have different levels of background checks that they do. But this one is a local background check that they'll be doing. And so here are the qualifications. Using current techniques of exhibit design, development, and construction, and in audio, visual, and computer-based production, AI, to coordinate the design, fabrication, and installation of physical and virtual exhibits. Y'all, I'm through with this one. I'm through with this. If you guys thought this was difficult, then, just me reading this, let's go back to look at DHA positions, because I don't want to go over an hour. I want to respect you guys' time. For everyone stopping by, thank you guys. 15
minutes to an hour.
I know. I mean, I'm saying it, but we're not going, Okay, so now let's take a quick break, and then let me read some questions. See if I missed any questions, because I'm just going on and on. What's your question? Okay, my son have a question.
You said that lady used her being obese as a handicap or
disability.
Mm-hmm. What would they qualify as obese or overweight?
Okay, so his question was, his paraphrasing what he asked. So I said that the lady in the scenario that I gave with the person that said her obesity is a disability, that what again? What
made it? Was she like clinically obese, or what made it that became a disability?
He asked what made her disability clinically. Was it clinically obese, or was it just, obesity? No. We're not doctors. We don't care. As long as you have a physician, we give them their utmost respect, that they went to school, that they know what they're doing. So if a physician says that you're obese, we HR and even the high managers, they don't even know all that, because they can't see that documentation. The only thing the high managers see is your resume and your cover letter. Everything else that you provide to make you qualify or to see if you're eligible, HR looks at it. So now HR, all we know is HR work. We don't, yes, we may know what a physician does, but we are not licensed. So we don't know. We cannot say, well, this person, well, she's just obese 1 pound over or 1 inch of fat over and stuff. We don't care about that. We don't even look at that. As long as they have the disability letter, the Schedule A letter from the physician, we take it. Yeah. So there's no, real requirement. Surratt says physicians are quick to deem someone obese. Girl, yes. I remember when I was in the military, I think when I first started in the military, how much did I weigh? I weighed 130 something pounds. I was cute. I was cute and sassy. 130 pounds. But, now it was, for me, it was disproportionate to my weight because, I had a heavy bottom. I was thick down there, my thighs and stuff. But I had a small neck and my head was kind of big. So now, I think because I wasn't happy with that, because I thought I was like a bobblehead and stuff. Now, if anybody watching this and y'all call me bobblehead and stuff, I had a friend who did call me a bobblehead in joking and stuff. I told him I didn't like that. So, nobody called me a bobblehead. But anyway, when I was smaller, my neck was a little bit smaller. So I didn't like it because I wanted to kind of, put on a little bit weight. Now, your girl put on a little bit of weight and then they talking about, oh, you're becoming obese. You're this, you're that. And I think when I was in the military, I probably weighed about 140 something. 150-ish. Now we ain't gonna talk about now, but these people, they were telling me I was, because I wanted to make myself, even out, I was rationing out, my proportion. They said I was obese. And I was like, what in the world? So I was in remedial trying to lose weight. And this, I was like, no, I'm not trying to lose, all the stuff that I got all over and stuff. But yes, so they were trying to tell me that I was obese. So in answering your question, son, we don't care. We're not a physician as long as you have the letter and stuff. Now, depending on the physician, they may say, you were obese. Okay, we'll take it and stuff. But now the only thing with the disability letter or the Schedule A letter, you can use it to get in. But if you're trying to, in my case, once I gain my little weight to try to make myself, all over and stuff, then the Army was telling me, well, you're getting big, so you need to lose, some of the weight. So they wanted my neck to be tiny again and my head to be big, but I still had the bottom and stuff, but my waist was, so they were trying to get me to go back and lose that weight and stuff so I wouldn't be obese. And I was like, yo, how much over am I? So they use a little tape thing and then they just, oh, you got a little thing. And I was like, y'all serious? So yes. So, now depending on the physician, if they're a stiffler and soon as you are close to the threshold that they put, the American Society that they have, Health Society, whatever, whoever determines those things and stuff. But what they fail to realize in the military, I'm ranting right now. What they fail to realize, African Americans, our, weight is usually a little bit more stockier than our counterparts and stuff in the lighter complexion. So, again, yes, we don't care as HR. So whatever your disability is, what it has, you provide us the documentation, we will use the documentation. Okay, let's read some questions. What is that? The bottom one? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Sherry says, so once you in and you lose the weight, is nothing they can nope. They can't say nothing because you already used it and you had the documentation and everything matched, everything aligned. So yeah, no. But the next time If you see another position that is not a position with career development or advanced potential, because some positions, you saw the first one that I saw that I mentioned, it was a 911. So now if it wasn't a 911, it was just a GS9, then you got in with your disability letter, then you would stay at the GS9. Now if you wanted to apply and get onto a GS11 position, then you would have to, if you wanted to use a disability, then if you lost that weight, Sherry, and you needed, a way to help you get in, I would advise you to go pick up that weight. Just, well, I can't even say that, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, without me even saying it. Okay, so Surette says, right, will they go back to your disability if you lose weight? No. Nope, they won't, because, we don't care and stuff, unless you're trying to apply, or even if you're applying for reasonable accommodation. So, sometimes if you need a chair, you need, those things and stuff, and you want to use your disability, then that's when we're like, okay, well, is your disability, still current? Then that's when we would need you to provide documentation. But once you in, I would say don't bother things that's not messed up, unless you need a reasonable accommodation. But if you really need it and stuff, but you can find other disabilities, because trust me, the list is so long on the disabilities that people have that we would never think that it was a disability. Okay, so okay, how is that obese? Yes, Bobby, I have no clue whatsoever. But that's what they would say. Oh, are you referring to when I was in the military and 130, and then I gained up to about 10 pounds, and they said I was obese? Yeah, military is kind of different. But then again, I respect them because they taking care of me right now, so they can say whatever they want to say to me. That's, sometimes you're in relationships, abusive relationships. I don't ever, talk about, or promote abusive relationships. But sometimes I feel like the military was an abusive relationship. But hey, they want to call me fat, they want to call me whatever, pay me. I know myself, dude. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so I said, yeah, physicians are quick to deem someone obese. You was what? What do you mean, Sarah? What? I was what? I don't know what you referred to. Okay, Jennifer Trinette, check this live out. Oh, thank you, Sharita, for sharing the live. Sorette says, is it frowned upon if you apply to too many vacancies? Girl, shoot. My behind be applying and applying and applying. And sometimes even now, I'm applying to positions because I want to keep up my game. I want to, step up my game just in case, because I want to see if I still have the skills that is required for me to, pass an interview with flying colors. Because if I'm helping people, I need to know what's current. I need to know some of the questions that they're asking. So I still be trying to apply for vacancies and stuff just to say, that, oh yeah, my game is still on point. Like I still know what HR is looking for. So even now, I find myself still applying to positions and stuff. Of course, I don't accept it and stuff. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter. However many, because until you get your job, and even after you get your job, you can continue to apply. Because I know when I used to work for the Navy in DC, this lady, she got in and stuff. And I guess when she got in, she wanted to get in. I think it might have been because it was a promotion and stuff. Yeah, you gotta know how to, the system is there for you. You just got to know how to, work the system. So I think when she got the job with the Navy, with where I was at, it may have been a promotion. And kid you not, she was there for 2 pay periods, because that's usually how we speak in the federal government. She was there for 2 pay periods, so about a month. So I think even after the first pay period, she waited till, she was in the system. And so when she started getting paid the first paycheck, and then she saw how we were doing things at that agency, She was like, oh no, this is too much work. I am not trying to do that. I got my promotion. I'm good. So the following pay period, this lady already talking about, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving. And I'm like, did you just get here? Wasn't this a promotion? I was just talking to her. I didn't care. I never hate on people's progress and stuff, but I just needed to know, because if she can do it, then that means it's something that can be done, and I got to see how I'm gonna do it myself and stuff. So she was like, yeah, I gotta leave because this is too much. Y'all doing too much. I'm like, no, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. But if that was me, I wouldn't leave. And she's like, what? I was saying, I was like, but don't you gotta wait? Don't you gotta do? Don't you? She was like, I already got my job lined up. All I needed was that promotion. So a lot of people, when they get in, they're afraid to move around. They'll stay. Like if it's a GS9 position that is locked in a GS9, and then they're having difficulty getting another job, or they're afraid to apply for another job, so they go through the whole pay scale and go up the different steps. I rather take the elevator instead of me climbing up steps and stuff, wasting time, because the steps in the GS system takes time. Because the first year you'll get $1,000 or two bonus, for the next step. Then the following year, and then once you hit going up to GS, what is it, GS4 to a 5, or GS3 to a 4, you have to wait for about 2 years. Who got time to play games? When I got in 2015, started in as a GS6. I was not even in that position. I don't even think I was there for a month. I was already applying to another position. Now, the federal government takes a long time to get people on. So now the next job, I think within 6 months, they called me, and then you thought I was going to hang on. Nope. Jump within 6 months, jump to a GS7 position, which was the HR specialist position. I started as an HR assistant. HR specialist position, where it was a 7-9-11. Your girl took that 7-9-11. So every year, once I got the job, the new job in the Navy, a 7. Following year, a 9. The following year, an 11. And then now your girl was like, oh, okay, so now I can do this. So once I got the 11 and I needed to come back home, I started looking at GS12 positions, because I've already done it for a year. So again, the waiting period is a year. So I waited for that year and stuff, applied to a GS12, but I couldn't find a GS12 right away. But then I just took the GS11 that I was at. Soon as I got to the U.S. Attorney's office and stuff, stayed there for about a year, position opened up, applied to it, got me a GS12 and stuff. And then when I wanted to, it was in Connecticut, when I was trying to get back closer to where I was, couldn't find anything, but I was already a GS12, getting paid a GS12. I took a grade below. I took a GS11, but guess what? You're going to pay me what I was getting paid. So it was a GS11, but it was a GS11 step 7. And now, of course, they were trying to play their games, talking about, well, you're going to be making too much money because where you are, only the supervisors make this much money, so we're going to give you a step below. Not this HR. Nope. So they had to pay me what I was worth. So, it's all about a game. It's you got to know what you're doing and stuff. Don't play me, pay me. Yes, sir. Yep. Work the system, play their game. Yes, Sherry. Yep. Get the foot in the door. Absolutely. Okay. Sharita says, Sarah M. Yep. Yes. So now, job announcement. Now let's go back to DHA. We're just going to look at one position, but I just wanted to give you guys options, so that's why I have these. So let's look at one position. Let's put this one in so you can see what it looks like, what DHA positions look like. Okay, so let's stop presenting, and then let's share this one with USA Jobs. Where are you, USA Jobs? Okay, you're right here. Let's put this right here, and then we'll wrap up, guys. Okay, so I put it up. Now let's share the screen. Okay, figure this out. Present, share screen, share screen. Okay, let's see. I think it's this one. Contract specialist. Yep. Okay, so this is one of the positions that is using that special authority that we spoke about earlier. Contract specialist, direct hire authority. So now this one is with the VA. So it's opened on the 8th, it closed on the 14th. So now the dates where the opening and closing, they vary, but it's usually about a week, 2 weeks. But if it's less than a week, if it's about 2 to 3 days, just know they just throwing out that announcement, that public announcement, public notice, just to let people, to follow the rules and stuff, to let the world know that there is a vacancy, but they're not really looking for anyone. They already have their people on the inside. So if you ever find these positions, I would advise that you don't waste your time on them. But then again, you can still try, but don't hold your breath. And when you guys apply to a vacancy, don't wait around. Just keep applying and stuff, because they take forever. OPM, I think we have 180 days to start the announcement all the way to the hiring of an individual. But there's usually so many things going on where we don't have that 180 days, or that that 180 days going, and then the hiring manager can ask for an extension and stuff to extend it. So yeah, if you apply to a position, don't wait around, because they're slow. This is a salary. It's a GS-12 position. This is the locations that this job is at. So anyone in that area, and you're in contract specialist, you're a contract specialist, or want to get into it but know what you're doing, because I want to always put that out there. You have to be qualified. Okay, it's not a remote job. Remote jobs are the best, but sometimes you got to be in the office just so you can rub shoulders and stuff, and make sure you propel your career. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't advise a non-remote job. Well, I would advise, a remote, non-remote job. So once you're in, you can rub shoulders. But if you're, working from home, it's kind of difficult. Okay, this one is open to the public. So most DHA positions, to all, I would say all of them, they're open to the public, because they can't find people on the inside. And so they're trying to they're trying to cast their net as wide as possible. And that's people, to the public. So US citizens, and sometimes US nationals. Now they put this message here for COVID and stuff, but it's not a big thing. Okay, so this is the major duties of this position. This one is a lot. They wrote a lot, but if you're in contract specialist, then this should be something that you're already doing. This is the tour of duty, 8 to 4:30. So we only get a 30-minute break. That's the downside. That's another downside. It depends on the agency, but where I was, it's always been a 30 minutes lunch break that we would get. So if you're on the outside and you get an hour and stuff, I mean, yeah, but you still got to stay that extra 30 minutes to make it up, because you're staying until 5. Okay, so this one, they're giving you more information about telework. This is the PD location incentive, not authorized. So if anyone's trying to go into a different area, a different locality, I would, recommend you look for recruitment incentives, because they'll help you pay to get to wherever they need you to be. You'll be sitting down for this job. You may need to travel. The conditions, U.S. citizen, selected service. Someone, I was talking to someone, that same girl I was talking to, I think her dad is trying to get another job too. So he wasn't sure about, if he registered for selective service. So if you're a male and you were born after this date, I would advise that start your registration, register for selective service. I don't think it's that difficult and stuff, but before you get in, we would check that you are indeed registered. Okay, probationary period, background investigation. Okay, so for this one, your basic requirement, 4 years, bachelor's degree in any major or field, or 24 semester hours in accounting, business, finance, law, contracts, etc. And then this is the specialized experience. So HR is looking for this, all this right here. So when you're drafting your resume, you need to make sure that not copy and paste. Do not copy and paste, because HR is getting really smart. Or, I mean, we've always been smart, but now they're pretty much telling you in advance, do not do it, because if you do it, then we'll automatically disqualify you. So a lot of people say, well, I can't do this because I've never worked for the federal government. But if you've worked as a contract specialist and stuff, right here, it tells you, it refers to paid and unpaid experience. I'm hoping everybody who's working, they're getting paid for it. But if you're not, and you're using that as a stepping, still, like my son, if he's gonna do any job, while he's in school and stuff, he can start with the volunteer work. But if you have responsibilities, I don't advise that. So now you can volunteer and you still be qualified and stuff. So it doesn't have to be federal experience. A full year of work is 35 to 40 hours. A lot of people, I find, this is, what people pay me for and stuff, is that when they write their resumes, they don't put this information in, the number of hours they work, because it's like we need it, because even though you've been working at that job for 10 years, we need to know the duration of time that you've actually performed the duties that you've mentioned in your resume. So if you don't have that information, then it's going to be kind of difficult for us to assess whether or not you have the experience, you meet the experience. And another freebie, people would write on their resume, they'll just put the years from the from and 2 years. No, you need to put month and year on your resume, not from 1990 to 2023. Yes, it's a long time. However, we need the month and year, because if you don't put the month and year, then it's like you're not following instructions. And a lot of, hiring managers, if you can't follow that simple instruction, then, they're already not going to consider you. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to drag this one, but this is what the position looks like. So every DHA position has this little, DHA in parentheses. And then sometimes they'll write the whole direct hire authority. So these are the best positions to help you get into the federal government much faster. Now, if y'all like to play games, then go ahead and apply to, the other one, the exhibit one that I showed you guys didn't have any direct hiring authority. But this one, if you want to get in, trust me, from experience, that's how I got in. So I recommend anyone, if you're going to look for a job and you don't have time to play, definitely apply to positions that have the direct hiring authority. Okay. Any questions? Saret said, okay, let me read questions. Saret said we need a part 2, right? I know. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. And sometimes I'm, kind of hesitant in putting information out, because I don't know where people's levels are. And then I don't want to ever over speak, towards anyone. So that's why I like to put myself in there and give examples to kind of, really hone in to what I'm saying and to make it easy, because, from what we've read, some of the descriptions on what we're looking for, assessing and analyzing and this and strategizing, like, yo, plain English. But, we got to show that we're, I guess, we can speak on a higher level. Okay, so Soret said, wow, that's the only part I don't like about federal jobs. They slow walk the process. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But you have to think that, there's not a lot of HR specialists working for these different agencies. And then within HR, there's, just because someone is HR doesn't mean that they've worked in recruitment and staffing. They may have worked in employee and labor relations. They may have worked in training. They may have worked in this. So just because you see there's a lot of HR specialists doesn't mean that, they have a lot of people that's helping them fill these different vacancies. And then a lot of the time, the hiring managers, depending on their, I guess, experience level, they don't know. They can't even manage their people, let alone, them trying to be able to bring people on. And sometimes they'll try to bring new people on with the people that they have that's not working, but that's not how you're supposed to do things. You're supposed to, make sure that your environment, your work environment is not hostile, so that when somebody do come in, when they finally do come in, that they actually want to stay. So, a lot of people are leaving. Once they get in, they're leaving, but they're not leaving to go to civilian jobs or to the, private sector. They're moving up the ranks. They're moving up the career ladder and going to different agencies. There's some agencies that are better than others. I think I'm not even gonna say that, because, just in case. But I've had some agencies that I loved, and then some that I didn't, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how are they still in business? But, but it's always the people that makes these different agencies. So in closing, if anyone is interested, is motivated, knows what they're doing, knows what their passion is, have experience, have the education, the federal government needs you. We definitely, I keep saying we as if I'm still in. I'm not working for the federal government anymore, because I would be in trouble, because, I can't do that, because I'm making money on the side and then working for them. So I'm not working for the federal government anymore, but they need you. And since I work there, I know, the caliber of people that they need. And I know some of the caliber of people that they have, but then again, it's more of the management that is not able to motivate, promote, reward, the whole spiel, their people. Anyone else getting Uncle Sam vibes? So, anyone have any questions? Hold on. I don't know if that's a hand raised, Saret, or no, or she's getting Uncle Sam's vibes. Okay. All right, guys. So, if you guys don't have any question, we will end here. Thank you so much, so much, so much. Sherry. I'm going down the list. Bobby. Wait, I think that's Kim. Is that Kim, Bobby? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Kai Kai. That's my son. Shauna. Juice Man Laos. Oh, I need to update my resume. Yes, hit me up. Hit me up. Yeah, because I think, you've been making a lot of money already, but hey, let's make that money, Wonkus. Or did you not want me to say your real name? Let's make that money, Juice Man. Shavita. Okay, I think I called out everybody. Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's Kim. Okay. Thank you, Ed. Yeah, I said Sharita. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for stopping by. We love and appreciate y'all. Again, Saret, she's in the background. She, wasn't feeling too well, but she came in to work. So I'm flexible, so I let her stay in the background. So, but she was doing a good job in the background. So thank you guys. Have a great night. Talk to y'all later. If you have any questions, reach out. Hope you guys found value in this information. Talk to y'all later. Bye.